coconut sugar. Sugar. Okay, coconut sugar. I love coconut sugar. One, it's got a very distinctive taste. It's almost similar to something like brown sugar, has a little bit of a richness. It is made from coconut, aka coconut sugar. And like coconut sugar and brown sugar, it can get hard, especially if it has been sitting. Mine came in a brown bag and it wasn't sealed very well, so it kind of got really hard. Like, it's hard, you guys. Like, oh my goodness. So the best way I have found to take care of the to kind of break it apart is I'm slowly putting it in the microwave with a damp paper cloth. So I've been putting it here and a damp paper cloth on top of it. And I am, let's see. I like this really small microwave and it's gross. It looks like we had butter explode earlier on it and I haven't cleaned it yet. So you should excuse the grossness. All right, so we're going to put it in here. I had to tip it over to the side to get in here because we don't really use the microwave often. It's like in our pantry area. All right, so I'm starting it for like 20 minutes. And then with this, of course, clean hands, is I'm just slowly breaking it apart. As you can see, this is how much I have so far. And you can, the other idea is that you can put a piece of bread in there. I've seen that works. It's kind of like the same idea as brown sugar. And this method could be done with brown sugar as well. And I can't remember what some of the other methods were. Somebody said to put a date in it. So I've thought about doing that to try, because I don't really have bread. So I'm going to put as much as I can in here. And we're going to seal it tight. It needs to be airtight. That was the whole issue before, was it just really wasn't sealed well. All right, so here we go. I'm like putting it from the plate into like my pot. Ew, and look, it broke up in half. And then I'm using a butter knife, and I'm just kind of chunking at it. And it's working. I mean, it's a lot better than what it was. So I'm going to continue to do that. Maybe I'll try putting a date in here, sealing it airtight, so hopefully it softens up. Hopefully this helps you guys, and I will show you the final after I work on this for a little bit more. Okay, so here we go. I have 4. Some of them did not break up even with the wet towel in the microwave, and maybe I could have continued to do it, but I don't know. So 2 of them are kind of really hard. So I did find a piece of bread. It's gluten-free. It's the Honey Oat Canyon Bakehouse. This is the brand that we usually buy. I don't know if it's something we'll be able to continue to buy, but sometimes we do buy that. So I have a date, apple, bread, and the wet paper cloth. So we are going to see, we're going to let this sit for a while. I think they say about 12 to 24 hours is what it's supposed to do. And see how it works and see which one works the best. So we're going to put our tops on. Hopefully, I did, trying to use a variety of different tops here to see if it changes. And I would expect, I think the white tops maybe don't like really sink in too much, or like do an air barrier, but I could be wrong. So we'll see if that makes a difference. All right, we'll see how this works. Okay guys, so some of the brown sugar, or I'm sorry, the coconut sugar, I keep saying brown sugar, did not break up, and I could not fit it in the mason jar, so I decided to add some butter. I have some grass-fed butter here. It just has butter in it. Here we go. Just has the grass-fed butter. You could probably use regular butter, and I've added some butter to it, the pan, As you can see, I've already cooked a good amount, and I've just been slowly breaking it apart like this. And we're going to get this, might have to add a little bit more butter. I'm gonna get this nice and cooked up. I'm gonna add apples to it and do a little dessert for my family. So this is just butter with coconut sugar, so I could use it. And we're going to put a bunch of apples. I have some apples over here. Put a bunch of apples in here, stir it up, cook it up, and yummo. How delicious. What a treat for them. All right, so that's one way you can use that hard coconut sugar. All right, guys, so this, what I did from, added the butter, the sugar, and it slowly just became very soft and ooey gooey. Became almost like a, looked almost like a forming of a caramel, as you can see. Is nice and dark. It's very, very delicious. I cut up a bunch of apples. I think these are Galas and Golden Delicious. I just, we have a lot of apples, so I just added it. And then I poured everything into my cast iron pot. I did end up adding a little bit of apple cider vinegar to it. I didn't really have apple juice, and I know a lot of times when you make fried apples it says to add apple juice, but I have apple cider vinegar, and my homemade apple cider vinegar is not as astringent as like store-bought. It's not very as like vinegary. It has a little bit more milder, little bit sweeter flavor. And I do, that batch is at 2.56 acidity, so it's still real, you know, it's still apple cider vinegar. But I added a little bit to it. I don't really have measurements, guys, because I was just kind of playing everything by ear with this and just trying to see if I could utilize that old hard coconut sugar. And so we'll just let this kind of simmer and cook. But one thing, I've already tried a couple of these apples, and they are so flavorful. It kind of tastes like a caramel apple. It is fantastic. So if you're making fried apples, then I would definitely recommend utilizing the coconut sugar, because it does have such a different flavor. Very sweet, distinctive flavor. It's like rich and has like caramel tones. It has a little bit of like molasses tones, and just so delicious. So I would recommend doing that. But there's one way you can utilize that hard sugar. Well, here we are, and guess what, guys? I totally forgot about these. I put these back in the pantry area, and we had a lot of things going on, and I wasn't feeling good for several days, and I just kind of honestly forgot about this. So let's take a look. As you guys can remember, this was the coconut sugar, nice and hard. So this one was the paper towel. It was damp. It didn't make it, like some of it you can see is wet, but it didn't seem to, oh, there it goes. Well, it did make it softer, actually. Whoops. Okay. So it did actually definitely help and definitely made it softer. So before I could not do this. All right. So that one, I would say, worked decently well. All right. So here's the apple. So, okay. Probably not the best because this one gets moldy. It definitely, definitely wet. So as you can see, it probably definitely helped. Yeah, I mean, look at that. That's like with ease. Definitely worked. I'm actually gonna just take this out in a little bit, and I'm going to make something. Maybe I'll make candied apples again. Fried apples, whatever you call them, because I don't want it to sit there and get moldy. Okay, but that definitely worked. All right, so this one is the date. Now this one I did break up pretty easily. I don't know if, I mean, maybe it helped from not getting harder, because it's not hard like usually they are. Sometimes it can get really hard, so this one might be okay if your sugar is already, I don't know, broken up. I don't know if I would say that I would do that if it's really, really hard. All right, and here's that bread. Oh my gosh, this bread is so, their bread isn't stuck in there. All right, so I don't really like, I don't know, like having bread in here because you can like cross-contaminate. So like if this was wheat and I can't have wheat, then you just cross-contaminated it. So I think as long as I guess maybe in your house and you know what you can't have. But this did help. As you can see, I'm able to break it apart. Again, last time I could not do this. Last time, I mean, it was so hard. It was like unable to be broken. So this one actually did work as well. So, yay. So that's good. All right. So, at this point, you could probably break it up and leave it in there. Or you could, I guess if this ever became an issue again, you could definitely just do one of those. I think the one I would probably do is the wet paper towel, or damp, I wouldn't say wet, but damp paper towel. The bread is okay. Again, just watch out for cross-contamination. The apple is great as well if you be sure to take it out because it worked. I mean, it definitely made it wet, you know, but the apple will definitely work. Just be sure that you're taking it out after like 12 hours probably. And then, of course, the date. I don't know about the date one, honestly. I would say maybe don't do the date. That was not the best idea. So, bread, yay. Apple, yay. After, just check on it after 12 hours. And definitely the wet paper towel, definitely probably the best. All right, guys. So, hopefully that answers some questions on how to break up rock hard sugar. And of course, you could do what I did, and I made those candies. They were so delicious. You guys, they were so good. It's so bad how delicious they are. So yeah, there you guys go.